Wow, it feels weird to be talking into this right now, honestly. God, it's been so long. I'm gonna make this quick by using this as kind of an intro here, I guess. Look, this is the part of video that everyone skips, okay? This is me explaining why I haven't been back, what I've been doing, and why this probably will not get uploaded Friday night. Don't you love scheduling errors? So yeah, this is my explanation for why I haven't been back in a long while. So essentially, a lot of it boils down to personal problems and a almost anxiety with the platform itself. I can't really explain it, but it's more like I'm not the lost media guy, you know? As I'm sitting here recording this into a microphone, it's like I'm not the lost media guy. I'm the gaming guy. I love gaming more than lost media. I happened to make a lost media video, it got big, and here we are now. With that in mind, I'm not saying I hate lost media. Far from it. I love it. I think it's interesting. It's just, it's not my channel. My main channel is a gaming channel. That's why I decided not to return with the lost media video, and instead with this video. So with that being said, there's your explanation. Hopefully, now we can move on to the actual video itself. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories is the most underrated game I've seen in a long time. I'm just gonna say it. I really like this game. But, of course, before we get into it, I'm sure some of you are confused. What? He's making a retrospective on Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories? Why not the first one? Where's my lost media video? Calm down, you'll all get what you want. To preface, I need to explain why I'm choosing Chain of Memories and how it's relevant. Or I guess I should say why it's going first. So, essentially, it boils down to, I have no way of playing the mainline 3D games. However, I can play every single handheld Kingdom Hearts game, save Melody of Memory, just fine. Why is that, you say? It's all thanks to my homebrewed 3DS. Yeah, shameless plug here, but I think that this is super cool. I really enjoy it. It allows me to play emulators and stuff like that. Run DS hardware without installing it, all that, whatever. Anyways, essentially, moving past the DS stuff, yeah, that's how I'm going to be playing all of these games, and so it's going to be coming from the perspective of someone who's never played Chain of Memories on a GBA, instead who's played and beat the entire game on their Nintendo 3DS. So, yeah. Also, like I said, main reason why we're doing the handheld Kingdom Hearts games is because I don't have a way of playing the main games. So, of course, this is broken down into sections, I would say. And so, essentially, we're going to start off with a story summary first. Now, I know. What? You're going to recap Kingdom Hearts 1's story even though you haven't talked about the game itself? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to. But skip to this time in the video if you do not want to be spoiled. I mean, I have no idea why that would happen or why you would do that, because, I mean, if you care enough about Kingdom Hearts 1's story, oh, you're in for a wild ride. Anyways, so with that being said, let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 1's story. Kingdom Hearts 1 followed a heartless outbreak by a scientist known as Ansem. By reading the Ansem reports, you get some more insight on how he opened the doors to the hearts of all worlds, which is why Sora was traveling to the worlds and closing the keyholes before the Heartless devoured them. Ansem was so driven by his curiosity that he turned himself into an artificial Heartless. Because you can tell by the Heartless symbol on his chest, differentiating artificially created Heartless and natural Heartless. It's complicated, trust me. Basically, any Heartless with a symbol was created by Ansem, and the rest are natural Heartless. It's important to note that Ansem was once human and turned into a Heartless, as it'll be an important point in future games. Same thing with Sora. When he sacrificed himself to save Kairi, he had two hearts at this point, and we knew he had two hearts inside him, so it's really important to note here. Sora became a Heartless by releasing both his heart and Kairi's. That'll be important more so next game, but still important. That's pretty much all I have to say. They traveled to Disney Worlds, they met Hook. I like this one scene where he says, "Hollow Bastion."
To the ruins of Hollow Bastion, where Maleficent resides.
I love it. I'm sorry. So, Chain of Memories doesn't do a very good job of setting up where Castle Oblivion, the main area in this game, is. It's in the realm between light and darkness, and what we believe is Kingdom Hearts at first. Trust me, we will dive into this later. We will have to. For now, I'm not prioritizing it because Lord knows when the next Kingdom Hearts video will be, but I'm just saying it's in the realm between light and darkness, and it didn't used to be Castle Oblivion. Okay, and that's also how both Sora and Riku end up there. Anyways, so the idea that Sora pushes deeper into this location, but is slowly losing his memories, is messed up. Can you think about that? Like, seriously, I don't think a lot of people think about that. Like, moving forward into a location, but slowly losing your memories. But you can't turn back, but you also can't just sit there. It's a distressing situation for sure, and one of the reasons why I think that Castle Oblivion is probably one of the best locations in the entire series. It also doesn't help that Naminé is a very good character too. Honestly, they're probably the best parts of this game. Aside from, stuff we'll talk about later. The ending. Also, another thing that's really cool about Naminé is her character development. She's a loner. She does this because, yeah, Marluxa forced her hand, but at the same time, she chose to do this. And really, it's even more tragic whenever Sora forgives her and promises to remember her, but does he end up remembering her? No, he forgets her entirely. It's actually really sad to think about that, because if you play through Riku's story, she pretty much admits that she knows that Sora won't remember her, but she still let him believe for a second that he would. How tragic. This is also the game where the organization is introduced. A group of people in black coats. Now, it's important to note here that throughout my gameplay of the GBA version, I never heard them referred to as Organization 13. I think that that's something Kingdom Hearts 2 introduced, but 358 Days Over 2, which takes place during this game and after this game, refers to them as Organization 13, but I don't know, it's too much sometimes. So that's where the organization's at. They mostly just exist in this game to give us original boss battles, but if you really think about it, a few of them really hit top mark. Like, are some of the best characters in any video game. So, for a second, if you'll let me talk about organization members, which I already know you will because I'm the one editing this. Axel is easily the best of all time. It's just unquestionable. He's just amazing. He's perfection. I love him. Who doesn't? You give it up for Axel. Yay. Oh, yeah. You want to root for Axel? Well, this game makes it really hard to do that. First, he kills Vexen, and then you think he dies, but if you play the Riku story, he actually does it, and he does more stuff. And he's just... it doesn't make sense why he seems to be going and killing everyone all of a sudden. Unless you play 358 Days Over 2. God, this story is confusing. If you played that game, you'll know that he was instructed to kill all of them by the actual organization, the heads. And also it helps, I think his name is pronounced Saix, S-A-A-I-X. So yeah, essentially he's instructed to do that, but this game doesn't tell you that, so it gets really confusing when he joins with Marluxia and Larxene to, overthrow the organization heads, but then he starts killing everyone who's working with him. Sure, Vexen, he was technically ordered to do it, but, I mean, come on. Still confusing. Now, this all kind of links into the Disney worlds, the big thing, the big boys. The reason Kingdom Hearts exists at all, to mix Final Fantasy and Disney worlds. How was it this time? I mean, it was good, but it could have been better. Honestly, I hear a lot of people complain about, these are just Kingdom Hearts 1 Disney worlds, except they talk about memories now instead of hearts. Look, yes, that is true. But, if you're playing the PS2 version, I feel like this hurts a lot more. You're playing it on a main console, 3D, big budget and all, cutscenes, voice acting, stuff like that. If you play the GBA version, it's not as much of a problem because it literally feels like a portable version of the first game, with some new story added to, of course, break it up and make it a new experience. Now, I hear a lot of people say and talk about, why do the Disney worlds even need story? It's not like Sora and them can act like they've known them before, because they're just from Sora's memories. But, I mean, seriously, would you imagine playing a game and having the bulk of the game be storyless? No, I wouldn't be able to do it. It wouldn't be fun. It just wouldn't work. Part of the appeal, in my eyes, of being in these games is going to the different story worlds, Disney worlds, and interacting with the characters. How would that be fun or interesting if there was no story there? Oh, there's Jack Skellington standing there. You can talk to him and get 1 or 2 lines from him. Yay! Amazing. What would be the point of even crossing over? What would even be the point of having Disney worlds? Why wouldn't you just run through Castle Oblivion, defeating organization members, and then call it quits? It wouldn't work. It just wouldn't. Now, I am going to talk about bosses and repetition in this game because I do feel that it is a valid argument, unlike a lot of other arguments towards this game. So I will agree that essentially, and this is more so Riku than anything, but you essentially fight a boss, go into a Disney world, fight a boss instantly, fight another boss, do something, fight a boss, do something, fight a boss. I mean, it does get insane. Like, you have to fight the Riku replica 6 times, and like the last 3 are like not even far off from each other. Like, what were they thinking? What the fuck? Fight Darkseid at the end of the game. Why? No one likes Darkseid. But the individual stories still work really well. I like how it builds to Kingdom Hearts 2, but also doesn't at the same time. But I like how you can still understand Kingdom Hearts 2 without playing this game, but you won't at the same time. It's really complicated. Did I mention Kingdom Hearts is complicated? Okay, so now's the part of the video where I talk about card games, card packs, and RNG. I love RNG, don't you? First off, I'm going to talk about the battle system, because I feel that it's the most fun part of the game. Not boss battles, just literally striking a Heartless and entering battles. These are fun and simple, and you can run at any time and cash out. They're not offensive, they're not horrible. If the whole game was just that, it would be fun, but it's not. Ha ha ha. But more on that later, because now we're going to talk about the level up system. Oh, the level up system. You see, whenever you level up, you get to pick one of 3 options. HP boost, MP boost, or I think it's called like slights. Yeah, that's it. So essentially, first off, you want to start out the first 5 or 6 times only doing HP. Build your HP up. Then for the next 20 levels, you're going to do MP, maybe 1 or 2 levels a new slight. That's it. That's the level up system for you. Literally, bosses are so demanding of cards that literally you're going to be 9 out of 10 times leveling up your MP, because it's the only way to hold more cards. There's no upgrades or anything. You literally just have to keep leveling up your MP. It is frustrating how horrible this system is, and it's not a problem with Riku because, haha, newsflash, his level up system is a lot easier, but we'll talk about that whenever I talk about Riku. But for now, we're focusing on the Sora campaign. Yeah, dude, Sora's level up sucks. It's horrible, and it's the main game. A lot of people don't even play the Riku story. I didn't even play through all the Riku story. I just fit and watched a cutscene collection. Okay, so now onto the RNG. Okay, so there are only a few ways you get cards. Well, you can go to the Moogle shop. Occasionally hitting something randomly will give you a card, I guess, and finishing Heartless battles will. Most of the time, those just give you map cards, though, so I mean... This is frustrating. I hate this part of the game. It's what, in a lot of people's eyes, makes it unplayable, and I will agree. The amount of times I had to grind for map cards isn't as high as everyone else's, but it was still incredibly frustrating. Especially in Monstro, for some reason that was just horrible. Horrible. The rest of the time I didn't really have much problems. And towards the end, I just straight up avoided fights altogether because I had enough map cards. It just got frustrating in my eyes. I hate it. Okay, now to talk about the actual card system itself, which is a lot better than the other systems I've talked about so far. So there's numbers on each card, the value of the card, the individual stats are higher with each number, obviously, but there's the card break system. So essentially, you want to put a card that has a numerical value higher than your opponent's card, so that way you can break their attack and your attack will go through, but your opponents can do this to you. However, there's a little bit more to the system. It's not just 1 through 9. There's a 0 introduced that can break any attack that has the lowest stat. Wow. So, essentially, a lot of times towards the end, anytime my opponent would go to attack, I would just use a 0 card and then absolutely just spam them with like high value cards until they went to attack again and then use a 0 card. It makes a lot of the battles that require you to think about your card values a lot more pointless, especially since higher cards take up more MP, so it's easier to put down more 0 cards than higher cards, so at that point you can just spam 0 cards. Wow. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about slights. So essentially, with a slight, you can stack 3 cards onto each other, raising them to a high value. And depending on the value that you get to, there are different slights, which are essentially different high-powered attacks. These are cool, but I just never got like more than 4 slights, because newsflash, it's just a waste of leveling up, as I already talked about. Why would you do that? It's just dumb. This also comes from with the price of, when you stack any 3 cards, the first card you stack will be permanently big emphasis on permanently lost for the rest of the battle. It's not really lost. There are special cards that you can use to reload it back at the cost of those cards actually being permanently lost. These are the replacement for items from the traditional Kingdom Hearts battle system, and it actually works quite well. There's only one problem to it. They take up MP too. What the heck? So it comes down to, is Chain of Memories as good as the first Kingdom Hearts? No, and it's not the card system that failed. I could see this game being good, yes, even on the Game Boy Advance, with the card system being intact. There's actually a lot of fixes I would like to go through right now before we get on to the ending. All you have to do is don't make map cards a thing. They don't need to be a thing. Make it a little bigger, more of a labyrinth. The maps, I mean. Fix the RNG stuff. Give you more Moogle points. You could even make boss battles have just a little bit less health to be less punishing. Or do the whole game like they do with Riku and give you a set deck to where you can't change it. I know it wouldn't be as fun, but it would fix the battle system entirely. And no, it's just plain flat out not as good as the original. Even with the fact that they're on different systems in mind, it still just falls flat. It's not as fun of a game, but it's still a good game. At the end of the day, this is Kingdom Hearts. This is Kingdom Hearts 2. Kind of, Game Boy Advance version. It really does feel like a Link Between Worlds, except not as good. It's in between a remake and a sequel. You go through the same Disney worlds, meet the same characters in the same locations. However, there's like new and unique stuff like Castle Oblivion and the whole main story of the organization. That here is all new and stuff, but it really is a perfect in-between of a sequel and a remake, and in my eyes, a perfect portable Kingdom Hearts, considering that I played the game, most of it anyways, and beat it at school. Yeah, that's right. It's a portable Kingdom Hearts game, and I think for that, it should be respected. The PS2 version is worse than the GBA version, I will always stick by that. And overall, yeah, I'm sorry guys. While I went into Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories expecting it to be super good, I found that it actually fell pretty flat. In the end of the day, do I think it's a good game? Yeah, but do I think it was as good as it is as when I started this video? No. Now, I know that sounded like a conclusion, but we're still far from it because, oh boy, we have to talk about that ending. Okay, so you've battled the last few organization members, Larxene, Axel. You don't really kill Axel like Larxene, but you battle him. And then you get on to Marluxa after you rescue Naminé. But then Marluxa uses a clone of himself to battle you and Riku. Fake Riku, not real one. We'll talk about him in a second. And then you fight real Marluxa. He dies. Naminé puts Sora in a cocoon to restore his memories. He promises to remember her. He doesn't. Bada bing, bada boom. End. The ending is honestly the best part of this game. It's really satisfying and it ties everything together. And I do think that's one of the best endings in the Kingdom Hearts series. And it leaves a really unique door to what could be in the future, one that Kingdom Hearts 2 jumped on. A sense of mystery. Where is Sora? Is he get out of cocoon? What happens to Castle Oblivion? What happens to Naminé? Well, what's going on here, guys? Why 358 answers a lot of those questions, which we'll talk about next time. It just, I don't know, I like the sense of mystery, and I do feel like you should play 358 after Kingdom Hearts 2, but of course, who cares about that, because that's our next video anyways, completely skipping Kingdom Hearts 2. God, don't you love the way I make videos? So now, if you'll allow me, I'm going to talk about Riku for a second. Is he better than Sora? Well, that's a complicated question, because he is, but isn't. Sora's core story is better than Riku's, but Riku's gameplay is better. There's only one problem with that. You have to play Sora's first. Oh my god, Nomura, what were you thinking making this game? Yeah, you have to play through all of Sora's stories first to get to Riku. But Riku's story is a lot more interesting and satisfying and leads to his place in Kingdom Hearts 2 just as much as Sora's. So in the end of the day, if you really want to know everything, you have to play both campaigns. Bad gameplay and bad story galore. Riku's story focuses on different organization members on the lower levels of Castle Oblivion. So in the end of the day, it's a lot less satisfying than Sora's story. It's really just Riku fighting the darkness in his heart. Again. King Mickey shows up a few times. He kills all the organization members. Yeah, that's it. That's all there is to offer from this game. Honestly, Riku's gameplay still falls flat. It's just, I don't know. Sure, it's a lot better having a set deck and stuff. In the level up system, God, it's a whole lot better. I'm writing the script. I can't remember the exacts of it. This is the bare end of the script, mind you, but I'll show you a screenshot. Everything about the level up system here is entirely fixed. If only they did this with Sora, am I right, guys? So in the end of the day, yes, is Chain of Memories a bad game? No. Is it a particularly good game? No. Is it a game? No. Chain of Memories really should just be a movie that you watch. If you watch the cutscene collection, it cuts out the filler parts, the least interesting parts, and literally just gives you the interesting parts in Castle Oblivion. If you're looking to experience this game but don't want to play the game, it's perfect for you. If you're getting into the series, play Kingdom Hearts 1 and then watch the Chain of Memories cutscene collection. This is literally the only game I will recommend that with. I wouldn't even tell you to just watch the cutscene collection of Recoded. Yes, but we'll be talking about that later. So in conclusion, is this game good? Yeah. Should you play it? Oh god, no. The GBA version is better than the PS2 version, but still, the core of the game, the RNG, it's unfixable. Even the GBA version can't fix that. And it is my least favorite Kingdom Hearts game that I played anyways. I haven't played the core 3 games in Melody of Memory. I'm sorry. Anyways, the next time we'll be talking about 358 Days Over 2, but before that, we have ourselves a Lost Media video coming up. Instead of focusing on actual Lost Media, we're going to be focusing on found Lost Media and how it happened. Yay, am I right, guys? Seriously, you better celebrate. I know you all been waiting for it. That's really all I have to say about this game. 358 Days is good.